Okay, that was a great group. Oh, love them. So, first thing I'm going to do right away while the kids are transitioning to their next group, while the next one comes in, I count out how many airs Melanie had. I had 1, 2 airs. Repeat is not. I had a self-correction, and I had an air here. So I have 1, 2, 3 airs. So I'm going to take my handy-dandy little calculator because that I do it the old-fashioned way. So I take my calculator, and I take the 105 words she read divided by the 3 airs she made. And that's a 1 to 35. So what that tells me is every 35-ish word she might have to chew on in this book. I also made a teaching point in my head. I made a little note to myself. And if I would have had her one-on-one, and it would have been a great moment to talk to her about this, she ignores the commas, and so it was a little difficult for her to process. She read it more like scientists know Mars orbits or travels around the sun like Earth. And if I could have helped her kind of pause at those commas, I think that would have brought more meaning to her. So when I look at her total self-corrections, she had a 1, so that's a 1-to-1 self-correction rate. So then I come over here, and I know she's about 35, so that's a 97%. This was not a BAS. This was a universal guided reading lesson. If it had been a running record that I was doing during an intervention lesson, I would circle here. So she read that with 97% accuracy. Now, I can't go down to this little box. Let's look at this one. This one's even nicer. I can't use this box until I look at her comprehension conversation. When I had that one-on-one with her, I thought her within the text was okay. It was kind of right there. It wasn't, I think I could give her a 2 on this one. Her beyond the text wasn't super deep, but I thought she had pretty good knowledge, and I thought she had a good conversation of the author's of the layout of the text and how the text was used. So I feel okay giving her a 3 on that. By the way, I was using these questions on the back of your binder, and I was also using these. And if you've been in the guided reading training, I use these as my guide because this is within, this is beyond, and this is about. You have to read them and make sure they really appear to be a within the text, beyond the text, and about the text. You can also go down here too for, in fact, it's interesting that it says imagine you want to learn more about Mars. Where would you go to get more information? And that's the reader's notebook option you can have. And we kind of had a conversation about that. So when I look over here, that's 4. And 3 is 7. So I'm going to put my 7 over here. She didn't really give me any wow additional understanding, so I'm going to give her a 7 for a total score. So I come back over to my benchmark chart, and I'm going to show you on this one. It's right here too. It is a level O. Most important part, make sure you're in the bottom for L through Z running records. A through K are up on top. So she had a 97%, and she had a 7. So I can know a 7 on her comprehension. So I know this is a satisfactory text. Factory text. It was an instructional level. I personally, you don't have to, I like to write 97%, 1-to-1. And I'm going to circle here instructional. I'm going to come back over to her grid. This is made up grid just for the purpose of this testing right now, but she had a BAS coming in as a spring, and I put that in here because I wanted my spring BAS here. These are their touch point running records, and when I touch point running record this first one that would have been done with her, let's say she got a 95%, and I put these in. These you don't have to, but I like to know that it was a 95% and she got 5 right on the comprehension. Now, according to this chart, 95 and 5 right is a hard. That's why I colored that space pink. You do not have to write the numbers in. I just like that for my own number data. The second touch point running record she did 95% and a 7. So it's instructional. The third one, 97% instructional. So today's, if I take my markers, she got 97% with 7 right. She's still instructional. Now, I've got one of 2 choices. 97%, and it was a 7. I've got 2 choices. She's pretty steadily coming along at an instructional. I'm not necessarily going to wait until it's super easy. I could choose to do one more instructional because there are different O's, different types of O's, obviously, and see if I can get an easy. The other option is I could try her at a P and see if the level P would be an instructional as well. But again, I don't just look at the score. The next thing I have to do to really know if she's ready to go to the next level is to look at the behaviors and understandings. So what I would do then is I would look through, and this is what the kind of work you would do in a PLC, okay? The kind of notes that I made on this running record, like commas, noticing the commas and rereading, that would be over in self-monitoring. So continuing to monitor for accuracy and understanding, self-correcting when errors detract meaning. I felt like in that moment she didn't really do that. But this is the kind of behavior and an understanding. We'll take the running records at our PLCs and really say, what do I notice about these readers? Appropriate stress on words. There it is. That's what I'm a little concerned about. So I'm actually going to put her initials by this and a question mark that I might need to think about that. I could also write it on here. Phrasing and with commas. All right, and then I stick it in. This part we will do more in our PLCs at the building level and grade level. But you can make note of those behaviors and understandings and observations. So then I go past. You can work however you want, either back and put the latest one on top, or you can go to the very end of her cluster of running records and stick it in. And that's it. Now, had I not been teaching, that would have gone a lot faster. But it's very quick. It's in the moment. Did you notice how when she was at that moment, I turned, do this 2-page, and then I can go back to the kids. I also had an opportunity because she was done reading. I could do a one-on-one conversation with her. Does that always work like that? Nope. So in those moments where they all get done at the same time, I'm targeting and listening for her understanding within the conversation of the whole group. Remember, it's a touch point, but I can push for her deeper understanding even in the whole group conversation. I hope that helps. The touch points are meant, for instance, if this was her day, if there's 4 kids in the group, we got through a whole text in a day. Some text may go on. So I understand that you may not get to, the next time I do a book, I might choose to do this friend. Then the next book, I'll do the running record on this friend. And the next book, I'll do the running record on this friend. So every 4th book or so, you know, if the book is longer, it may not be, but every 4th book, she gets a touch point running record. So that is more current progress monitoring for our universal instruction, so we can know when to move these readers, not just based on the accuracy data, but also our behaviors and understandings. That's what we'll do each month when we get together as a grade level PLC and at the district level and at the building level. We'll study our behaviors and understandings for the level of the universal expectation of that month. Thanks. Take care.